My name is Leroy Brown, and welcome to Bridging the Gap. Tonight's topic is the Community Resource Fair. This is an event that happens pretty much every year. So let each person identify who they are and what are they going to bring to the table as far as how this resource fair is going to materialize. And I'm going to start on my right. He's the boss, so I'm going to start on my right, and he's going to give us what the resource fair is, and then I'm going to go down the line, let everyone identify themselves and who they are.
All right. Well, the Community Resource Fair is an event that we've been holding annually for 7 years now. And I say we because it's a combined effort between Plainfield School District 202 and Valley View School District 365U. And what it is it's a time when we pull as many resources from the community together of varying types so that the public can come in and get a good idea of what is out there, because we've recognized that it's difficult to really know what are the different resources that are available to people, even within their own community. And with that, I am Alan Bank. I am one of the co-chairs. I am from Plainfield School District 202.
Hi, I'm Mary Davis. I'm a social worker in Valley View School District, and the Community Resource Fair means so much to me. And Alan and I have worked on this for 7 years and running. And the Community Resource Fair is a great outlet for people to come to of all ages, children, teens, adults, senior citizens. There's resources that they can obtain in every domain you could think of, from healthcare to childcare to community resources like getting food, getting shelter, getting jobs, and we're going to talk a lot more about that, and also activities for the whole family.
My name is Dondretta Strong. I'm with CoWork Staffing Services. We're based out east, New Jersey, but we, of course, are saturated here in the community. We have an office that is just off of Boughton Road, 440 West Boughton Road. We have an up and downstairs location where we service a variety of types of clients, anywhere from light industrial to material handlers, packers, pickers, QC workers. We are in the line of the logistics, and we are also available for services that are extended to new businesses that are coming in the community and existing businesses that are looking to have their human resources department managed, outsourced, as it relates to any type of direct hire placements, management services, as it relates to any in-house tools utilized to even capture or help to manage their employee bases much better. So that in just is what we do here in this community. And of course, we do a lot more outside of it. And hopefully we'll have more time at the end to talk a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angie Martin, and I'm with Edgewood Clinical Services. We have 2 offices. We've got one in Naperville and one in Plainfield, and we offer counseling services for individuals, couples, families. We offer group counseling for children, adults, and adolescents. We also offer psychological assessments, to offer objective testing for autism spectrum disorders, behavioral types of issues, and just help to get a better sense of what is going on in a person's life. And then we also have a psychiatrist on staff, so we are able to provide a full in-house services for people in the community.
Well, that was a pretty good beginning. We can stop now. We just about giving all the information out, but no, we have not. Mary, you kind of alluded to the fact of what type of providers are, and then we're going to get to the change and all that. But what kind of providers do you have this fair? I know you have almost about 100 and some providers there.
Yes, are we up to 100 and what?
About 115 providers coming.
So about 115 providers, and they range from hospitals, addiction recovery services, counseling services, libraries. We have colleges coming. We also have assistance for people, like I said, who need to find housing, who need to get jobs, who need food. or just resources to help them get those things. And the Will County Health Department comes and they have a whole variety of different services. They have lead testing, and we also have, you might want to talk about some of the other forms of testing that can be done.
We also have, but in addition to those, there's various recreation facilities that will be there, and even Girl Scouts of America is represented there. So we really have just a whole gamut of different resources for different people to check out, because we're trying to really find, everybody's going to have their own niche. And we want to make sure that you recognize that there is something out there, whatever it is that you might need, it's most likely going to be at this community resource fair in some manner.
You know, they have that many different organizations at a fair of that size. What would it cost? It has to cost something for people to go in, right?
It is absolutely free of charge, completely free of charge. And if it's a conference day that day in Valley View schools, and it's an institute day for Plainfield schools. So children will not be in session at school on that Friday. However, we have free childcare all set up and arranged, so families can feel free to bring their children. And we also have a bunch of various things that would be of interest to teenagers, such as recreational facilities, so they could get into programs, at the Y, or into programs at the Bolingbrook Park District, Plainfield Park District. And we also cater to students who are preparing for college, and there will be colleges there to talk to them.
Wow. Angie, what made you decide to become part of this? What are you looking for at this community resource fair?
From an agency standpoint, it's wonderful to be able to network and meet some of the other people in the organizations in the community, because then that just gives us more information to pass on to our clients who might need help with finding certain things in their lives to help better. So while we're providing the counseling part, we can direct them to other agencies within the community that are close to home. So being able to meet and talk to a person and actually have a personal contact at that agency is very beneficial for us.
Let's talk a little more about your counseling.
Well, we've got a large staff, and we vary in experience and education. We've got clinical interns, so we're providing training all the way up to PhDs and PsyDs, psychologists. And so with that, we're able to provide a variety of services from children 0 to 5 years of age all the way up the age range. So we've got some therapists that really excel in working with substance abuse. We've got some that excel in behavior management. We've got some that excel with adolescents, some that excel with children. So it's a very dynamic, moving agency.
And you work a lot with the law enforcement as well. Do you have to work with them for any of your services?
I believe our CEO, Adam Russo, does some things with the courts, but to be honest, I'm not quite sure how he does that and in what capacity.
That's good. We don't want you to say something that's
I don't want to say anything out of turn.
Ms. Storm, this is your first time coming to the resource fair.
Right.
What are you looking to accomplish at this fair based on your organization?
Well, I'm hoping that our organization can provide jobs for individuals that are seeking career path opportunities and individuals that are looking for intermediate work. Individuals that are even at a crossroad in terms of their career search. We're a company that's globally based, but we service, of course, here the community, Romeoville area, Bolingbrook area, and we're always looking for individuals that are looking to get to work. When we are, as we continue to prepare for the resource fair, we will, of course, have giveaways as well. We'll have information on benefits available through our company. We will be able to talk about the types of positions that we have to offer. We'll talk about the onboarding process. We'll also have what we call our pre-screening applications there. And of course, we will be able to provide all the details in terms of how the individual would be scheduled from that point on to go into our office. Just would be, 2 or 3 miles down the road there for them to do the face-to-face interview. We will also give them information on drug screening. We will go into discussing backgrounds and the requirements that we're seeking for that. We will, of course, address attire, safety and attire as it relates to what's expected at some of the sites. Some sites permit or encourage certain type of dress code, and of course for safety reasons. And other sites do it for professional reasons. Because of the scope of business that we have, it's so vast, and for the large amount of clients that we service, it's so vast. So all of our clients and our employees we bring on board are tailored to suit. What I mean by that, we tailor them toward the skill level that they have, the years of experience they have in the industry, the ability to perform the job, the hours that are conducive for them, the hours that we provide through our clients. We look at all shifts. Some individuals like to or based on their lifestyle, need a first shift, second shift, others third. Others are available to work 12-hour shift, rotating weekends, 12 days on, 12 hours on, 4 days on with rotating, 3 off. So we try and do the best that we can in providing flexibility and in supporting the community likewise, because we're sitting in an industrial community. Our business, and when we look at it from a full scope, I was just kind of taking a peek at it, we have over 700,000 full employees out from a company perspective. So we're aiming to really saturate the community wherever we sit. So we're looking forward to doing the interviews once again on site there at the community fair. I will be there. Make sure you come by and see me. Most definitely, we can help you out. If we can't help you out right there, we can definitely point you in the right direction.
Wow. Okay, now that we've got some companies there, where is it going to be held this year, and what time does it start?
This year, we actually switched locations. We're going to be located at Plainfield East High School, which is 12001 South Naperville Road. We know it's a little bit different, and very often, we're looking strongly at the Bolingbrook area, and obviously we're trying to incorporate both school districts as best as we can. The nice thing about it being at Plainfield East is it's about a mile to mile and a half just west of the Bolingbrook Country Club. So it's by a nice landmark that Bolingbrook is familiar with, and it's still really within the community area. Plainfield East actually has a number of Bolingbrook residents that will be going there. And as far as the time goes, it's going to be from 8:30 to noon.
Okay. Now, this sometime kind of gears toward homes or situations that are somewhat unstable because there are some issues, there are some concerns. What if my home it's fine, there is no problem in my home? Should I be concerned about going to this fair?
I think that there's something at the fair for everybody. So perhaps maybe you think you might need a little counseling just to, get some balance in your life. There's a variety of counseling facilities that are there. And then, like we had said before, there's the recreational facilities so that, you can relieve stress in that way. There's activities and places for senior citizens to go to get some outlets for activities for their lives as well. And medical, physical therapy. So anything basically that you're looking for, you can find it at the fair. And it's always nice to just go around too, even if you're not necessarily looking for anything in particular, just to see what kind of services are out there in the community if you have a friend or a family member that's in need of services that you could help.
One particular organization that we haven't mentioned yet is the chiropractic field. And I'm no expert on it, but I can certainly tell you we have 3 or 4 chiropractic agencies that are actually going to be there. They often do some free screenings in general to give you an idea in terms of whether or not you need or you may not need chiropractic services. So as far as, yes, you might be physically fit, everything might be great. Excellent. Have somebody else check you out and they can confirm with you. You're doing wonderful. You don't need us. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there at the fair.
Now, the layout itself, if I'm looking for a particular vendor or service, is there someone there to kind of lead you guys to where you go, okay, I'm looking for something on medical. I don't need all this other stuff. Do I still have to go through it?
You do not have to go through the fair. You can go to one table or you can go to all. And I'm pretty sure even if you come in and you're looking for a certain thing, there definitely are going to be a lot of staff there that we have that will be working at the fair that can take individuals to the given table that they want to go to. But I can assure you that you'll want to look around as well, because there are free giveaways and goodie bags and all kinds of things of interest at the tables.
Okay, I'd like to come, but I want to bring my aging parent there. What kind of facilities accommodation would you have for me bringing them? They're in a wheelchair, the mobility is somewhat limited. How is that set up?
Fortunately this year, and even in past years, the facilities we have been at have all been wheelchair accessible. This year, the fair itself is going to be held in the field house at Plainfield East. So it's a very wide open space, and that way we're going to make sure that not just that the different resources that are there have the spaces to do what they need, but certainly the people, the community coming in are going to feel comfortable. They should not feel crowded at all. So yes, person coming in with a disability, maybe wheelchair bound, that will not be a problem at all.
Okay, now I want to bring my kids. I've got kids that ranges from, say, a year old to 14 or 15 years old, and they really like food. Mm-hmm. Is there an accommodation for that?
We definitely, the fair this year is 8:30 until noon, and so we wanted to take into consideration what would kids particularly like. So we figured everybody likes popcorn, right? Mm-hmm. From little kids to elderly to teens. So we have popcorn free of charge, so they can come out and get some popcorn. And if families have their children with them, it's fine if they want to check their children and just walk around the fair and have some time to take a look and spend some time with the providers. That's fine, because we have free childcare. And if they want their children to walk around with them at the fair, that's absolutely fine with us too. The more the merrier. We welcome everyone.
And that includes some of the older kids too, because I know many times they'd rather stay at home and rather than go into a boring fair or anything like that. A couple of things that they may be interested in. We're going to have 4 different colleges that are there. So they may be wanting to get information on that, or just even finding out what's the difference between maybe a university and a college, or what can you expect from different sizes. They're going to be able to get that at the fair. In addition, and as you heard Ms. Strong speak earlier, she's going to be one of 4 different employment opportunity places that are going to be there. So, depending on the age and such, if they're old enough, they may be able to get their resume out a little bit that way if they're looking for a job. So there's just a tremendous amount of possibilities for kids of any age. So definitely they should all come.
You hit something right on the head, because you figure some people may come that's looking for employment. Mm-hmm. Should they bring a resume with them? Should they bring something to indicate that, yeah, I am looking for a job, here's what I have?
Absolutely, good question. Thanks for asking it. Definitely bring a resume with you. We'd love to take a look at that. I would love to take a look at that. If you're 18 years of age or older, then most certainly we can look at you for opportunities across the board. Please don't stay back because you're thinking, I don't have the experience. I would love to be able to talk to you about entry-level opportunity. My job, apart from the company, is to serve the community. I'm a community person, so I look outside the job, outside of whatever other responsibilities are, and I look at the person that's sitting in front of me. So please come by and see me. It's a short process by which it's not a drawn-out process. If I can get you in front of me during that resource fair and get a good snapshot on you, meaning that profile that we talked about, the pre-screening, then that shortens the process quite a bit. From there, you would go into our office, and actually I can make that happen the same day if you're serious about working. You can go into our office, complete the online application, or the library. That's another resource that we have in the community that I think, is not taken advantage of as we should. You can complete it there, and then once the application online is completed, it's a very short, it's a 3-pager where you actually go and you put all of your personal contact information, your shift preference and things of that nature, your work history, and then, of course, there's some identifier, self-identifier information on that final sheet. You close it out, it's done. I can bring it up, or someone in the office on your way from the resource fair can bring it up for you, and then that's when your in-depth interview is done. You will be administered a drug test there. We have different type of panels depending on the client. We can do anywhere from a 6-panel mouth swab, or we can actually send you to the lab or hair follicle. It depends on the client, and it depends on the actual assignment and longevity of the assignment that you are interested in, and of course your skill level. So with that being said, we typically can have you working within 48 hours if you actually follow up and follow through. And of course, sometimes, depending on the counties that you've lived in, because of the background check, it can take longer in certain counties than it does in other. So that could take sometimes 3-4 days or so. But as soon as you clear all of that, major clients, if I start counting them, you would be baffled by the number. Even with the 14 and now 15 staffing companies in the community, we are able to differentiate ourselves. Together is our slogan, together we are better. And we do believe that that slogan not only extends to our clients, it extends to the community, to the village. So come and be a part of the Together We're Better, the community fair, okay?
I'm going to get a job tomorrow. And Janelle, in your profession, if someone comes to you and you can't provide that service that they're looking for, what would they do? How would they move forward?
If I was unable to,
No, if someone was unable to, they're coming to you for a service, your service, but you can't provide that service, how would you move them forward?
me personally or the agency?
The agency itself. We're talking about the agencies.
Okay,
right.
we would refer them to another specialist that would better be able to serve them. I mean, that's part of our ethical code in counseling to, if we are unable to serve somebody for any reason, we always provide referrals to the clients.
Someone that has a drug problem, could you actually counsel them right there when they come to the community resource fair, or you would have to refer them somewhere else?
We would, if they come to the community resource fair and start talking about some issues that they might have, then we would definitely give them the phone number to our office, and they can call the intake. We can have write their name down as well, and take the information with us back to the office, so that our office would then call and set up an appointment. And then also we always verify insurance benefits. So for instance, if we took back the information and went back to intake, we would then verify their insurance benefits, make sure that we are in their network and that the services they're asking for can be provided by Edgewood. And if not, we can also work with clients. Sometimes we have clients that, especially at this time of year, it's difficult to, the new deductibles and things like that. So we really work with the clients to help them get the services they need without it being a huge financial burden. So we really do a lot on the back end for our clients. So if someone does come to the community fair and meets one of our staff and starts talking, then we'll definitely do what we can to get you into the office. And we've even got another counselor that's going to be presenting on resiliency and how we build that in our kids. And so you can go to listen to him as well and speak to him. He's been with the agency for quite some time and is very, very good.
You know, if all the agencies were like the ones we're hearing, you guys are going to have a very successful community fair. Now, I came last year and I enjoyed it. I thought everything went well. Why should I come back again this year? What's going to be so different about this year that wasn't last year?
There's going to be quite a bit that's different this year. Each year we really are doing our best to try to help the community become stronger. And one thing we've decided to do this year is have parent seminars. More of a brief seminar, if you will. We recognize that the time is important, but we want to make sure that you get something out of the fair in addition to checking out the different resources. So we have 3 different parent seminars going on this year, one of them which was beginning to be talked about, and that is Building Resiliency in Children. That's going to be done by Neil Gorman of Edgewood Clinical Services, and that's going to be from 9 to 10. At 10 o'clock, we will be having a presentation by Detective Steve Lepick, and that's going to be on social media. Such a big situation going on now. There's so many positive things that are going on with social media. Information is so much at our fingertips. However, we also know that it can also be dangerous at times because people don't always realize how much information they are putting out there. So Detective Lepick's going to be talking extensively about that. And then at 11 o'clock, and as I had mentioned earlier about having older children and such, we are going to be having a presentation by Angie Smith with regards to college life. And she's going to be talking a little bit about financial aid, but we also recognize that the school districts do that quite a bit as the students get prepared to go on to college. So part of her emphasis is going to be on the emotional challenges that sometimes occur when somebody goes on to college. Not just for the student themselves, which we tend to really hone in on because it's their first time away from home for so long, but we're going to take a look at the home as well and what type of challenges that presents. You know, is it your first child of 2 that's going, and that's going to present something different than if it's your last child and now maybe you're empty nesters at home, as they like to say. So there's a lot of various challenges, and she's going to be speaking about that. And hopefully you've got an idea from what I've just said. Really 45 minutes to an hour on any of those topics isn't enough, but they're going to be getting in as much information as they can, and we'll also be available to answer any questions.
Okay. We have a new panel on, and I'll let him identify who he is and what he's bringing to the Community Resource Fair.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, Leroy. My name is Amit Thakur. I'm the Director of Business Development for Linden Oaks, which is a full-service behavioral health organization. We're primarily based out of Naperville, but we have locations in Plainfield, St. Charles, Elmhurst, Arlington Heights. The closest location to this service area really is our Plainfield location, which is on the same campus as the Edward Emergency Room right off 127th Street and Route 59.
Let's talk a little more about the Linden Oaks. What would that appeal to? Who would you be actually appealing to when we talk about Linden Oaks?
Sure. So the patients that we serve are anywhere from adolescents, so all throughout that high school period, as well as adults and young adults. And we even have a geriatric program for older adults as well. We have a variety of different programs, both inpatient and outpatient, and again, I mean, ages 12 all the way up.
I understand you work a lot with school districts as well. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a number of within our adolescent programs. There's a number of things that we do with school districts. The main piece is really the treatment aspect. So you'll have patients that identify that need to have treatment done, whether that be inpatient, partial hospitalization, which is a day program, or a half-day program. We have a full level of care assessment that's done at every one of our sites. When we work directly with schools to get patients into that assessment to figure out what level of care would be appropriate for them. So that's on the treatment perspective. And then we also do a lot from the preventative perspective to try and keep patients out of that acute level of care, that inpatient level. So one of the programs that we have is mental health first aid. which is a 8-hour training course that we offer for basically the public to know how to deal with a person who's going through a mental health crisis. So you could almost equate it to the CPR for mental health. So that's a big piece that we do from the preventative piece. I already talked about the treatment piece. The last piece is kind of the continuing care. So a lot of people feel like once you go through treatment, that's it, and it ends at treatment, and you're all better. And the thing is with mental health, it usually isn't that way, and most of the people that have had experience with mental health know that it's an ongoing thing. And it's an ongoing, whether it's an issue, whether it's recovery, whether it's anxiety, really whatever you're dealing with, it doesn't really end at your inpatient or outpatient perspective. So we do a lot of continuing care, whether that's through support groups, whether that's through ongoing continuing care groups, and we also collaborate a lot with community partners. Earlier we had folks from Edgewood up here, and we collaborate a lot with them as well.
Now, insurance. Someone comes to your hospital, your clinic, Linden Oaks, and they're uninsured. How would you handle that?
Sure. So, uninsured or insured, I mean, any hospital inside really the nation is governed by laws called the EMTALA laws. And the EMTALA laws essentially dictate, regardless what your payer source is, you should have access to treatment. So Linden Oaks, really regardless what the payer source is able to do a level of care assessment, figure out what the level of need is, and then help for placement. What will happen is, every insurance company or plan has its own preferred providers and then providers that you can work with. With Linden Oaks particularly, just like really every other hospital, if we're not included in a patient's plan, what we'll do then is then contact the insurance company, just like Edgewood and some of the other folks out there, and work out one of two things. One is a single case agreement, so you work with the insurance company to say, this is what the patient needs. We can't get him into any other services, so can we enter an agreement with you so this patient is still covered under what their plan is, even though we may not be a preferred provider. The second piece is if the insurance company says, no, we can't do that, then we work with other community organizations that we already have partnerships with to say, we know this patient needs help. This is a level of care that we've recommended. Can you guys take this patient on? And then we'll refer that patient over. So every month we get about 10,000 phone calls a month through our crisis line. And our crisis line hosts, our service area goes from Mokina to Vernon Hills. We're essentially all through the collar counties of Chicago, given the 7 different locations that we have. And collectively we field about 10,000 calls a month, and we do about 1,000 face-to-face level of care assessments. Now, out of that, not all patients are acute enough to be in a hospital level of care. Some patients may need community-based therapy, and in those cases, we'll refer them again to some of our partners. Some folks may just need some type of support group to be involved in. So then we'll connect them with maybe a NAMI local chapter or one of our AA or NA groups that we host at our hospital.
Mary, you guys, you put this together. What kind of thought pattern that you go through in doing something like this? I'm going to take lunch, and I want to go to the community resource fair. How long would it take me to go through that based on what you have?
Well, I think that you can, if you have 20 minutes, you can kind of try to figure out what your needs are and what you would like to see. And there is going to be staff there that is going to be able to assist and point you in the right direction of the services that you need. And you should be able to get your needs taken care of in that 20 minutes, a lot of time that you have, because we will have people that will take you right to the location if it's for counseling services, and if it's for finding a job, that's going to be all in one location, which is really exciting because we've never really had this in our setup before. So we're very excited because we know there's a lot of people out there who are looking for jobs and employment and things of that nature. So that's all going to be in one section. Other services are dispersed throughout the fair, but there will be maps and there will be guides. So, and if a person comes to the fair and is a little hesitant and thinks, well, I need counseling, but I'm afraid to ask, you're kind of one-on-one with a person, so it's not like you have to ask a whole big table full of people, where do I go to get this? If you need something, please say when you come into the desk, please say, I I'm looking for something on addiction recovery. And we'll put you over with someone who can take you right to that table.
And I'm sure a person coming to the fair could be somewhat intimidated based on everything that you have, and the number of people that you have there. And I think you just alluded to that. If someone comes in with the specifics, someone will direct them to where they need to go. What if you can't help them?
I would hope that we'd be able to provide some sort of help at this fair, or some individual like yourself would be able to point them in the right direction. That's our whole piece of networking. Not only is the community networking and finding out what services are out there, but all of us providers are networking as well. So, you know, as I sit here and think, I definitely have a question for Edgewood Clinical Services for a family that I'm currently working with in the school system, and that hopefully, you know, she can answer right after we do this show tonight.
Okay. I see all these vendors that you have. How am I going to remember all these people? You know, is there something that will help me to remember them?
Yes, because you know what? We're not giving a quiz at the end. We're not expecting you to remember all 115. There's actually two things. One, when you come to the Community Resource Fair, you will receive a resource guide that has the listing of the vendors that are there tonight. One thing that we have noticed is many times people like to leave with something that they can just grab, a quick reference, almost a, once again, that directory, almost that phone book of you know, people who they saw, and they'll get it right away. So the nice thing about that is if you do go to a couple different agencies or what have you, and you want to follow up, you can mark right there in the guide where you were, and there won't be any question for you there as far as who to contact goes. The other thing, though, is that we're doing is we've created an online guide, and this year we fortunately are in the situation where we are able to update that throughout the year. Many times numbers change, or maybe people who are initially listed as a contact for that agency, they may change for whatever reason. We are going to be able to update that during the year, so you can access those by going to either of the district websites, and it'll say basically Community Resource Guide or Community, and you'll be able to go to the online guide to get that information directly, once again, throughout the entire year. So even if by chance you leave with the resource guide and then something happens, you misplace it or what have you, you'll still be able to gain access.
That's what I like about this show. These guys answer the question before I even, before I even get to it. That was my next question. Is there a website or something that they can go to that will allow them to get information before they even get to the Community Resource Fair?
Right.
Absolutely. We have a link on the website, Valley View website. I know for a fact it's on the left-hand side, and it's a little heart. You can just simply click on that, and it will give you a menu of a variety of different options. And if you click on the resource guide option, you will see all of the providers that either are coming to the fair this year or have been at the fair in the past. And so that way you can kind of strategically look for what your needs are this year, and just kind of highlight what you want to see, and then we'll guide you in that direction when you come. And we do have a table for you when you initially come into the fair. There's going to be a couple of tables. So when Leroy was talking about intimidation and so forth, these tables are just to sign in. We want the community to be involved. We want the community to be at the fair, and we always want to try to improve the fair and increase community attendance year to year. So that sign-in sheet is simply a sheet just saying, I'm a member of this community and I was at the fair today. And then from that point, the greeters will send you to the person who will direct you in the right direction. Or, you can simply sign in, take a manual in a bag, a goodie bag, because we want you to get those goodies as you walk through the fair, and just feel free to go in whatever direction you'd like.
The nice thing about about going to those links as well, regardless of whether or not you're going to the Plainfield School District or obviously the Valley View School District website, is that by clicking on that link, right now, you're not just going to get the community resource guide. You'll actually be getting the information with regards to when the fair is, where it's at, the parent seminars, which I just mentioned. So as you're listening to this entire broadcast and all, and you're getting a better idea in terms of what it's all about, you have your summary right there. So in case you missed any information, all you have to do is go to the school websites, the district websites, and you'll be able to get the information again.
And I'm sure with all these medical people, that's going to be that goodie bag is healthy, right?
It is, yes, it's healthy. And speaking of medical people and that sort of thing, we've expanded it this year so that families will be able to get information about pharmaceutical programs, sports physicals for school. A lot of activities will be coming for the summer and things like that. So we're very excited that they'll be able to get that information as well.
Okay, sorry.
I was just actually thinking as they were talking, I remember, coming to the village back in long years ago. Our son is now 22 years old. He was a baby when we first came to the village. And I was just sharing with Tony Greathouse, who's in the room but not on camera. I said, I remember when you were doing Welcome Wagon. That's what we had. And I'm thinking about the collaboration of what's going to happen the end of this month. I just think it's phenomenal. I'm just, just picturing all the cross interacting with business and resources, that's going to be in one building for our village, for our kids, for our mothers, our fathers, our students. And that's amazing because we're going to have so many people that are new to the community that, will be there. And they will see this as a gold mine. One of the first things I thought about when I came to the community, it was pretty raw because there was a lot of cornfield land, and less buildings and less businesses. And I just remember, and I can name pretty much all the businesses that were here at that time. But now I'm looking at the vast businesses that are here, and I was looking across the room when we were at the chamber meeting, at our big chamber meeting where the mayor gave his speech, and I'm going, oh my gosh, look at us, how we've grown. So I can appreciate such a resource fair, and also I'll take those tools back to me for my company, because when we can't help people, then there are other means by which we can extend to them for additional resources or other resources. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about being there as a company. And our website, if that's my key for that.
Yes.
Our website is www.coworkstaffing.com. Once again, we are located at 440 West Boughton Road. We're on 2 levels. We have lower level C, and we have upstairs, which is suite 208. Our phone number is 630-755-4188. And if you need to get a hold of me, you have any questions, you can email me at dondretta.strong@coworkstaffing.com.
Wow. Is there a web that you might have that people may be able to go to?
Sure. So the website for Linden Oaks is www.lindenoaks.org. And on that website, there's a couple interesting tools. So one is a tool called the Anxiety Aware tool. So it's a evidence-based tool. It's a 5-minute kind of online test where it ranks your anxiety levels. And depending on what your results are from that test, you can then either opt in to submit your contact information or just receive a report on the results of that test. Now, if you opt in to receive the report and submit your contact information, and you're graded as an at-risk person for an anxiety disorder or an anxiety issue you may be dealing with, we'll actually proactively call you within 24 hours to have a behavioral health clinician talk to you about the results of those tests. We started with Depression Aware, was the first tool. A couple years ago, we expanded to Anxiety Aware, and just recently opened up Addiction Aware as well. Now, all 3 of those will bring handout cards to the Community Resource Fair to be able to hand out to the public as well. Again, these are free, and it's another way that people can gain access into the system for treatment that they may need. I think there's 3 things that I kind of focus on when I'm out in the community for Linden Oaks, and the first piece is increasing awareness. For mental health, I think that's one of the strongest allies and also one of the strongest hurdles that you have is the awareness around mental health issues and the awareness around mental health treatment. So that's one piece, is increasing the awareness. The second piece is increasing access. I think increasing access to treatment is probably one of the biggest hurdles that people face, is knowing that they have an issue, but not knowing where to go to get help. And so increasing awareness, increasing access, and the third piece is probably the darkest cloud around mental health, which is the stigma that surrounds it. So decreasing that stigma and anything we can do to decrease that stigma really is part of kind of our mission. And I think an event like the Community Resource Fair really pulls it together and humanizes mental health along with all of the other needs that a community may need, and decreases the stigma around it because it presents it in a very non-threatening, kind of anxiety-creating way. And so I'm really happy to be a part of the fair, and thank you.
Thank you.
Parents, there are parents that will sit there and watch this show before the fair starts. What parents should be at this fair? How do you identify that parent?
Any parent should be at the fair, quite honestly. There's, once again, with the parent seminars, that's going to touch so many different people. The tremendous amount of resources that we have that you can come, you can take a look at, find out about what's going on in the community. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet when you were asking about what's new, those parents that are concerned about the dental health of their kids, we actually are going to have a dentist there. Dr. Andrew Flores has agreed to come in, and if you have a student age 4 to 16, they're going to be able to come in, get a cleaning, as well as they'll be able to get cleaning for their teeth, and this is all going to take place at the fair itself. They'll be in a separate room and such. They're not going to be doing that in the middle of the fair for health reasons, obviously. But that's going to be another incentive for parents to come and bring some of their kids as well, because those services aren't free usually. At the fair this year, it will be. And I'm not going to guarantee that you'll be able to get in, because it is possible that there's going to be too many parents wanting to take advantage of that, which would be understandable. But he has agreed to get in as many as he can within that time. So, yeah, it should be, really any parent should be joining us.
Wow, a lot of resources. This could be a 2-hour show. It really could. But since it's a 1-hour show, I'm going to ask each person, what would you like to leave the viewing audience with? What message? I'm going to start. I call you Doctor. You know, Doc, what message would you like to leave the viewing audience with?
I think the message that, you've completely put me on the spot here, so I got to think fast.
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. My message would be the fact that treatment is out there, and to not have stigma around those that need help. They say 1 in 4 Americans in their lifetime go through some bout of dealing with mental illness or a mental health issue that they need support with. Yet less than half of them actually seek treatment. And being able to seek treatment, whatever level that might be, whether that's hospital-based treatment, whether it's therapy, whether it's a support group. I think many of us have these ingrained networks of support that we rely upon, but oftentimes you need a little bit more. And to be able to reach out for that is something I think everyone should have the opportunity to do. So a lot of it is just knowing the fact that there are people there and there's always someone there to help. It's just reaching out to the right hand.
Okay, Ms. Shaw.
I would like to say in closing, come. If you're seeking gainful employment or know someone that's in need of gainful employment, or even someone that's at a crossroad in life and that wants to do something in between, regardless, come see me at CoWorks, that is, at the resource fair, and we can definitely get you going. One of the main things I would say, come dressed for success. Come dressed like you're ready to work and that you're serious about getting to work, because we're serious about putting you to work, and we want to be able to get you into a position where you can support your family or whomever it is that you're responsible for supporting. So come see me on that day. I'm excited already. I'm really excited already about the opportunity to really service our community. Thank you.
I think she's really excited.
Well, I would just like to say that I hope to see everyone who was at the fair last year again this year, and please come up and say hello to Alan and to me and to the other people you've seen there. And I would really like to encourage you to come, even if you're just thinking that things are going quite fine in your life right now. You might be able to find a resource for a family member or a friend or a neighbor that would help them out. You'll be able to get the guide, so you could take that with you, so that if you're with friends or family members, you have a copy of this guide and you could show them the resources and the phone numbers, because sometimes people are intimidated to take that first step. And also, if you do have any questions about the resource fair, you can call our hotline, and it's 815-886-7246. And for English, it's 800-800. And for Spanish, it's 801. You could leave a message, a confidential message at this number, and we will return your call and answer any questions that you might have about the Community Resource Fair. But most of all, whether you are 2 years old or 102 years old, please come out and see all that these communities have to offer.
Before I go, I'm gonna let Angie have a message she would like to leave the viewing audience with, since she just left for a while.
I came back. I think the message I would like to give is that if you've thought about possibly wanting to see a counselor for any reason, and I overheard you guys talking about the intimidation factor of what it's like. I've had clients come into my office and look at me like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Come to the fair. Not only to talk to a lot of the other agencies, but us, I think there will be other counseling agencies, and just to be able to talk to a person about what is involved in the counseling process, I think will help alleviate the fear of actually making that call or setting up an appointment. So if you're unable to make it to the fair, I'll put in our plug for Edgewood Clinical Services, because we do have 2 offices, one in Naperville, right on 87th and 59, and then we have another one in Plainfield. It's right off of Naperville-Plainfield Road, where 59 kind of intersects it. And our phone number is 630-428-7890, and we'd love to talk with you.
Okay, we got about a minute.
Wow, that doesn't give me much time. I'm going to try to be brief. You've heard about all the different resources that are there. I just want to take a quick moment to remind you once again, Dr. Andrew Flores is going to be there once again, cleaning. He's going to be providing the fluoride, the sealants for those students that are 4 to 16 years of age. We have the parent seminars, building resiliency in your children at 9, at 10 social media, and at 11 college life. I really feel that there is just something for everybody this year. That's been our goal on a regular basis, is to continue to make this better each year. In addition to that, though, one thing I did want to mention, which I failed to do so thus far, is that if you can, once again, the Community Resource Fair is free to you, but if you wouldn't mind, if you could bring in a can of food, we are taking collections for the different food pantries in the Bolingbrook, Romeoville area, as well as the Plainfield area, and those cans of food will be donated to them to give to needy families. So once again, there's stuff there for everybody. Please join us.
And that's very important. It doesn't cost you anything monetarily.
Correct.
But if you bring a can of food or something, that would go to help feed those people that are less fortunate.
100% correct, yes.
I want to thank everyone for being here today, because it's very important to have a resource that people can go and tap into, because so often information, like Tony Greathouse used to always say in her editing when she'd paper, knowledge is powerful. You know, and the knowledge that the people are getting here tonight is going to make a huge difference for people that will get the help or services that they need moving forward. So I want to thank each one for being here tonight. This is good. This is what we need. This is what we're talking about, getting the message out. So thank you. And my name is Leroy Brown, and this is Bridging the Gap. Thank you.